Thanks very much, and let's start with this. I want to thank you to take your time today with some rain, and it's dark. It's not that cold, could be worse. But also to the organizers that put this together. So was really cool this year in May when we were in London and these ideas start to pop up. Even I was talking with Matthew this week, and he said, I don't know what is happening in Netherlands with all of those ideas going so fast. I told him, look, flat country, pretty small, lots of people. Ideas are like virus, go around. So that might explain the reason. And also, to the host, pay us dinner, some drinks. So we need that. If not, we'll be outside. Feel free to take pictures, put on social media. It's okay. Tag me. So I'm going to tell you something. I didn't expect this to be on YouTube, and this session going to be interactive. So I'm a chaos agent on myself. We're going to see how that goes. But the idea is that I have questions, and this is going to be better if everyone participates. And this is why I also like communities, meetups, because it's small, it's more intimacy, it's different from big conferences where there is a big difference. So let's make this funny, all right? Yay. Energy. Cool. So, first question, right? So the talk is, why should I care about social technical systems? And the first question is, what is a social technical system? Or, well, that is the second question. Do you know what a social technical system is? And raise your arm and put, 0, you don't know anything, 5, you know everything. So we have everything across the board, which is okay. There is some definitions. We're going to get there, and we're going to talk about some consequences, and then in the end, we might want to answer to the question again. Now, for those of you that know what a social technical system is, can you explain it? And I will say it again for the sound purpose. Wants to give a try?
You cannot remove the people who are working on the technical system from the entire design, or the entire design, I would say.
Yeah. So the answer here is you cannot remove people from the entire design with technical system. Cool.
So if systems are interacting, you can also expect that people will be interacting. So
yeah.
Like one-on-one connection maybe?
Yeah. If systems are interacting, you cannot expect people to not interact.
I think it's when you have more than one people and at least one device in the room, then it's social.
It's a good explanation. So the explanation is it's when you have more than one people and one device in a room. So, anyone else? Back then?
Well, there can be different definitions, but for me, when I think about social technical system, it's when you build, you run it. So if you build and deliver somewhere, this link is broken.
So the interpretation here is when you build, you run it. So if you throw to other people, the cycle might be broken, if I summarize correctly.
Eat your own dog's
Sorry?
Eat your own dog's food.
The other one is eat your own dog food. It can be.
No, I just tried to interpret
Oh,
in other words.
Yeah. Anyone else wants to give a try? All right. So the definition from social sciences is that a social technical system is a unit of analysis, right? Started after Second World War in UK, actually in the coal mines, right? They start to study the psychological effects of long wall mining for the coal. What that happens is that folks take out, are specialists, people put dynamite, blow it up, another team comes in to load it up, another team push the wagon, and they start thinking, what if we do this on small batches? And teams are cross-functional, right? They call these cross-functional, and they study the effects on cross-functional teams that were no more happy, less errors at work. You know, their line of work, people die. Is not because we call just a canary deployment, actually came from the coal mines. But they also figured out that the mental health of people was better because, you know, by allowing people, as you said, designing their own way of working, they could understand how the work could be done, they could understand how they could interact with technology to achieve their tasks. And in the end, even people miss work less, right? So, and this started. So we have a body of knowledge of almost 70 years, if I'm correct. And this is very very interesting because until then everyone analyzed everything separately, right? When people went to manufacturers, they analyzed the machines and they analyzed the people, and here is the first thing, which also leads me to say that in IT we are catching up to lots of things that have been done. But we can visualize on this way, right? We can visualize that there is a complex environment and we feel that, right? Demands are changing. If you are, I see that lots of you are around for a long time because, you know, you have gray hairs. You work before the cloud. And after the cloud, things start to be way, way faster, right? So technology and the expectations of people of using services, especially powered by software, change. And then we have a social technical system, right? There is structure, there is hardware, software, and there is the work itself. If we bring this to IT, it can look like this, right? We can apply team topologies, you know, for structures and define how, you know, the team interactions are between us and all of these type of things. We can think about org charts, all of this type of stuff. And our physical system, especially for us that I'm assuming all of us are involved on the software world in one capacity or the other. It means our tools, right? Our hardware, all of this type of stuff. And then we do our work. What was missing in this picture?
Can you return it? People are there.
People are there, the cognitive and social. I just didn't put, yeah.
There is no reward here.
Sorry?
Reward.
No, because it's not discussed how the organization does things, but I didn't put there. You?
Customers.
No customers, yeah, that is a nice pointer. What about the software produced by the team? Is that part of the social technical system or is that outside of the social technical system? Why? So the answer is inside, and I ask why.
It's part of the technology, right? Of the system.
Okay,
It's a combination of people and technology.
okay.
I think it's outside because we call it outcome and output.
So the answer is outside because we call it outcome and output. So we have here conflicting answers. Over there?
I think it depends on the kind of software you're building.
Yeah. Can you give 2 examples?
Sure, I think if you're building, for example, maybe this is obsolete, but you know, some software that's just shipped off to the customer and then they play with it. Maybe then it's outside the system because you're no longer interacting with it. But if it's software that you maintain on the server and you're interacting with the logs and the monitoring, then it's still part of the system.
So the example here is it depends. If it is the software old style that you ship to the customer is outside. If it is software that is inside and you maintain and then you check logs and stuff like that is part. So most of the times is outside, right? Because we don't consume this software. However, there is, you know, if you are AWS or Datadog or Google, eat your own dog food, you consume the software that you produce, right? But this is very interesting, right? Sometimes this software that we produce, we use as well. Sometimes we build our own tools. There isn't something that works and we just build, right? So this is the first thing to understand if it's just an output and an outcome and we sell it, or if we are Datadog and you use Datadog to produce Datadog, right? Is what those folks do. So this is the first one, which can lead a bit to confusion, but let's now work some examples, right? This is not just about theory. Let's work an example that I was involved with. So this is part of my journey, and it might help you out. Another question before we start. Here, who knows team topologies, modeling shapes? Some of you, all right. We're going to have lots of diagrams. I think that I was the only presentation on FastFlow conference that didn't have team topologies diagrams, but I bring diagrams here. All right. So e-commerce. I work in an e-commerce company here in Netherlands, right, a couple of years ago. Everything for a smile. You already know which company it is. And I was part of a very interesting journey because I was in the restocking team. So, we were actually doing everything for a smile because products needs to get to the hands of customers. But also we had an interesting dilemma because we can have higher stock levels, but then we don't have space in the warehouse. And, in warehouse, a cubic meter of space is very expensive. So we need to play with stock levels and wishes of customers. And for instance, if it is raining, right? Because if it is raining in June, we don't sell barbecues. So why we order barbecues? So the company has what so-called product category teams that are cross-functional teams that have buyers and marketeers and pricing people and contract people, and they are focused on categories. Pretty much the categories that you see on the website, they are bundled there. And they are responsible to make sure that things go okay with these products. And one of the things that they do restocking. And this was before I arrived. This is one of the value streams that they need to do. They do lots of things. They open up an old ERP, they list all the products, open the products that they want, they do the mental calculations to know if they need restocking and put on a list and lots of manual steps. So if we use service blueprints, we see that the buyers are doing lots of things. They interact with some systems, and behind the scenes there are other interactions. If you don't know service blueprints, it's okay, but pretty much you can map different types of processes. It's very good for modernization of software. But the bottom line is these folks were doing lots of manual work, so lots of waste. Picking up what Hans was saying, flow was broken on both states. Flow of value, because also the portfolio of the company grew across the years. But also state of flow. None of us like to do this manual stuff, right? Especially because if you work with retails, you order something, but sometimes your order is not exactly the one that you get at the warehouse, and then you need to call suppliers, so solve these trickier challenges that is very hard to solve with software. So it was very odd for these folks to interact with everything, and cumbersome, and the ERP was gigantic, so not helpful. So the question for you is, in these conditions, what would you improve? Automate lots of the things, right? Which is what this company did. So when I joined, some of things were automated. And if we look to the, can you go to the other screen? Yes, doesn't work. If you look to the top, the value stream became really simple. You just need to review, check the suggestion, accept or reject, and the process move on. And what happened is that supporting processes and backstage interactions were way more heavy, the automation, and the front stage interactions of these people start to be easier to do. If we pick up team topologies, that is a great way to visualize these. We pretty much create a platform with a couple of teams that offer these services. Let's do something for these people. And when I arrived there, it was pretty cool. They were doing the migration. We had some problems, but we had some metrics, right? How long people are spending on these products? Are our suggestions of restock levels pretty accurate? Did we got the requirements right? Because in the end, we want people to free up their space, to pick up the phone and solve the real issues that pop up when things get to the warehouse. So far, so good, right? What do you see happening, or what could happen when things like this happen? We start to introduce technology like this.
People definitely unhappy.
Sorry?
People unhappy.
People are unhappy.
Yeah, there's change in their work.
Who is these people?
This who are doing these manual actions,
Yep.
they will start complaining on platform saying, no, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, especially in the early stages. And they will also be scared of the automation.
Yep. So the answer is that people that are executing the manual work can be scared because the automation and also platform didn't work. Partially it happened. So sometimes platform didn't work, we had outages and they need to revert to the old method. They weren't scared of their work because they're actually, what we notice is from a financial point of view and some product categories, the stock levels were more accurate. The benefit is that the organization didn't need to scale linearly because they start to expand outside of the Netherlands. But it can happen, definitely. Yeah.
No, there's just more layers.
Yeah.
What I can see.
Maybe for friendly,
So there are more layers and,
for friendly,
sorry,
for friendly. So you stay at a distance of all
Yeah.
these things. So isolation of the people.
yeah, can happen isolation of the people and people start to get away, which is a very interesting, all that thought towards the end of today.
Verfremdung is a German word of Karl Marx.
All of this can happen. So what is very interesting, talking about, again, social technical systems, looking to the team that I was part of, we start to improve our own side, right? We had some outages and things were not working and platform could do better. So we start to use an abuse of monitoring and logging tools, especially because we were getting from the data center to the cloud. And you know, the data center was way more stable than the cloud. At least we know when we bought that hardware, the cloud is just, well, very unstable. We adopted BDD and DDD practices because we need better ways to understand where we could evolve these services, right? And also, you know, get better with testing, you know, get all of these a bit refined. Start leveraging property-based testing. I don't know if you know this technique, but it's very cool. We increase the resilience of our software, and then after in the cloud, we start to use some cloud-native services. You know, we want more control about what we do. We want less handovers and less, you know, use things properly. So this is one example when, in our case, the software is not that we produce is not part of our system because we don't use it, but we can leverage technology to improve our life, but also to improve others' people's life. But if we take, and this is where I want to get in this journey with you, because I only got this realization a couple of years ago when I started studying this and being a consultant. If we take a step back and look to these product category teams, they had flow. They were flow-oriented in the terms as team topologies explain it, because they were already cross-functional with very well-defined boundaries. But then all of these platforms, technical platforms, right, made with software, start to emerge in the company, start to, you know, kill that ERP, because the ERP just grew like, you know, and a plant that we don't take care of to trim starts to go everywhere. There were more platforms, there were more teams creating software for these people to be effective, you know, restocking, pricing, contracting, you name it, right? And here we are just talking about we work inside of the company. Of course, there were software, mobile apps, website, to the outside. And based on social technical systems, definitions that we talk about, what do you see if this happens? platform can be a bottleneck, yes, if things are not managed properly.
Seems like the teams are separated and does not interact with each other.
Teams seem separated, not interact with each other. Partially true, because I couldn't put everything. This is an interesting one. There was an interesting culture about communities of practice in a way that, oh, okay, let's adopt Datadog. When people from each team come together to understand how this works with PHP and Delphi and C# and TypeScript and whatever, and then diffuse the learning. But we start to change the way that these people work. So we get to this point, and this was the realization. We have a team creating software, an output that is used by other teams to carry their tasks, right? And this is a realization that I had a couple of years ago, because, sometimes we are not truly mindful how our software is used, right? We were lucky because we didn't ship software outside of the building. All of the people are in the same building, so we could interact with our colleagues. But I realized this. There is a bigger scheme of things. So if you know this gentleman, Jay Bloom, early DevOps practitioner, he tweeted something around the social technical system that creates another social technical system. There is also a problem. I hope that you're going to see this. He's a philosopher, so we need to start decomposing all of these type of things. But this is what we are seeing. The software that we produce most of the times going to influence a much bigger environment than just this technical thing. They're going to change the ways that people see the world, that people carry their work. And what I do think is that in IT, and I had this problem, right? I have formal training in IT, in software engineering. Everything is zeros and ones, right? And everything is black and white. The thing here is, as Dave Snowden says, IT architecture will only be successful if we focus on humans, right? And this is the point that when I start to be immersed on this concept, start to understand what I did wrong during my career, right? Just to focus on this technical part, because, themes can be scary and building these walls. And rather we should think in open systems. We are all open systems. For instance, you decide today to come here to this meetup to discuss, drink a beer, talk with people. But in companies, we are the same thing. We can isolate and treat teams as closed systems, or we can just think that we have dependencies on each other and we need ways of working, we need flow and things to go. And we need to be very mindful as people working in software that our actions have a deep impact, although sometimes we are not trained or aware of that. And that's why I find it so important to look to the lens of flow, because it's not just my team flow, right? The beginning of the DevOps community that was focused on this team, but there is bigger flows that we are part of. And sometimes we exclude ourselves from this journey. I did this myself. I'm very happy when team topologies came out, because it was this pattern language that was missing in my toolbox to talk about these things, because namely in the team interactions, we could talk about evolution. Oh, if software evolves and someone uses software in a different way, what will be the interactions? Not just among IT teams, but in this case, with the other teams, right? What are we changing to them? What do they expect from us, right? Getting back to the title of this talk, why do you think that we should care about social technical systems?
Because we all work with them and they affect us all the time.
Because we all work with them and they affect us all of the time? Great answer, thanks.
I would
involvement, so you want to have the people involved with
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Involvement, because we want people involved with what they are doing. Great answer as well.
We are in them.
We are in them, so we like to maintain our house clean, I hope. Right? Sometimes with kids can be a bit messy, but that's okay. I just came from a play date at home, so it was a bit chaotic. All of these, right? We should be very aware because software is very powerful. I don't know if you work on any of these industries. I never work with military industry and this type of stuff, but software is very powerful. We can change people's life. And I think that we should be very aware of these consequences, right? A bit like the uncle of Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think that this is why we should care about how our software is used. With that, we are towards the end, a bit of shameless self-promotion. We have a couple of things over there, chapter of a book that I wrote for O'Reilly, Learn, that going to be translated to Japanese, so apparently is a success. The middle one I curated with my good friend Kenny. On LeanPub, the money that you donate goes to activities for diversity and inclusion in tech. And I have my own podcast that I stop because I'm writing a new book, and I have a family and I like to sleep as well to maintain sane, but you can find these. And if you want to contact me, you can book a call to discuss this type of things or problems that you have. And I want to thank you all for your energy in the end of this day. Thanks very much.